Maggie, do you happen to know if we're waiting for a lot of people, or if anyone, like, I know I see Brian's on here, but I thought you and Anna were gonna miss, so I don't know if anyone else said they weren't gonna make it. You're muted, Brian.
You're absolutely right. I'll be here until about 4:20.
Okay, perfect.
I didn't receive any confirmations of any regrets. So I do know that Dara, Paul, Brian Stanley, which I think he's on. Of course, Lori and Jim also are supposed to be on. I don't know that they're on yet.
I am. Jim is trying to get off a conference call really quick. He'll be here in a second.
Gotcha.
I'm going to go push him. I'll be right back.
Okay.
And this is Emily. I'm on the phone.
Okay.
Jim's logging in now.
Thank you.
He's trying. It's being fickle.
I just texted Anna to see if she can get on.
Jim is still trying to get on. He's I don't know what he's doing in there. He's fiddle farting around. He'll be here in a second. Sorry.
Tell him we're just waiting for him. No.
We're gonna start as soon as you grace us with your presence, honey. Yeah. Yeah, and he was giving me crap because I was working on cookies and I wasn't ready to go. He's like, "You better be ready to go on time," and he's late. That's funny.
Well, should I go ahead and call the meeting to order? I know Jim will start. I don't know. Do you want to start with roll call, or how much are we at quorum? I don't know. I always forget the number we need.
8 is the number. So we've got, I think.
Yeah, we're at 8.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So we'll call the meeting to order at 4:05 p.m. And do you want to do roll call, or do you want to? Okay.
I'll go ahead and take roll call. So commissioners, okay, so let's see, Paul Anderson. Kevin Barat.
Here.
Talene Cole.
Present.
James Dinwiddie.
Here.
Thank you. Lori Dinwiddie.
Here.
Emily Fuentes.
Here.
Elizabeth Habas. Okay, not here yet. Stephen Klein,
Here.
Dara Malecki. Not here yet. Jermaine Newman,
Here.
Brian O'Neill,
Here.
Anna Piercy,
Here.
Lachey Rodriguez, Brian Stanley.
Here.
All right. And we have a quorum.
Perfect. Thank you, Maggie.
Yep.
All right. So first, did everyone get a chance, or if you wanted to get your approval of last month's minutes? So if you have them, I think everyone should have gotten a copy. If you could review them, and if I could get a motion to approve the minutes from last month after you review them.
Motion to approve.
I second the motion.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? All right, then the minutes are approved. All right, the treasurer's report. Jim, do you want to go over that? I think it's probably the same, but
Yes. Sorry. It's terrible. Oh, well, phone calls. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so treasurer's report was sent out as well. Still no changes if you want to take a look at that since February of 2020, which I hope to see some changes here in the next few months. But February 2020, so it's the same report that we had last month. And I know my job is getting very difficult over here, just copy and paste and changing the date. So if we can get a motion to approve that, and if you have any questions, like I say, it is the same as it was last month. Sorry.
Move to approve.
perfect. Second.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? All right, then the treasurer's report's approved. All right, virtual exchange with Mito Japan. Who, I know Kevin was doing a little bit of work on it. Was it with Dara? I forget.
Yeah, it was Dara, myself, and I think Brian was on it.
Okay, were you guys able to, did anyone attend that meeting, first of all, I guess? On,
I did. This is Jim. I attended the California Japan Sister City Spring Workshop on May 14th for
how was that?
most of it. It was good. We had some breakout rooms, and it was I was surprised to see that our old friend Anthony was not on with that. I thought he would be a big part of it, but yeah, I was with actually the consulate general from San Francisco was in my little group, and so I was. It was okay. It was okay. It was a lot of work we spent a half an hour going back and just doing congratulatory things, and thanking everyone on the California Japan Sister Cities. But it was like any workshop. So.
Okay, any good tips for doing a virtual exchange? That's what I was kind of hoping that would come out of it, but maybe that wasn't the focus so much.
It was more, how do you want to say? It was difficult. I'll say that. So I had a gal actually from Japan, as well as the consulate general from San Francisco. And so there was only 3 of us in our group.
Okay.
And so I didn't get a lot of, conversation with them other than, what we do and who we are. So I know that's kind of leaving you in the dark, but it was, it's difficult to, it was difficult to put together.
So, and I take it sounds like no one from Mito was on there.
No, I didn't see, I didn't see anyone from Mito. I tried to scan through. There was a lot of people on the call. And we'd go to breakout rooms, so we had groups of 2 and 3, which I didn't think were as 6 or 7, 8 people, maybe you could get a conversation.
Right.
It was that was the one difficult part. And I was on without, I didn't have a video at that time. So not that they wanted to see me, but yeah. So I was hoping to gain something that someone else was doing. And,
Right.
and it just seemed, it didn't get a lot of information that we couldn't come up with on our own, as what I should say, or as far as, unfortunately we don't have kids in school, so that makes it difficult on our end or avenue to get to those kids at this point.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Jim, for attending.
But I tried.
Yes. No, I appreciate that. Or else we would have thought like, oh, we missed out all of this like fantastic information that would have like our job's already done for us. And we didn't.
I could start over and say, yes, you all missed out, and I'm going to keep it a secret and not tell anyone. It's all mine.
So we just put you in charge of it all then. We'd be like, okay,
yes,
you take
that's
it.
I have enough time just typing February minutes from last month. So
all right. So Kevin, any update on what you guys have on the virtual exchange idea?
No updates so far. I still have to schedule to meet with Dara about it, but other than the ones that I emailed you from the last meeting, that's all we have so far.
Okay. All right.
Colleen, do we know if Mito's interested?
I sent them an email and I just haven't heard back yet. So I sent it to Mr. Wayne. So just recently. So I need to give them a little time. But yeah, so I haven't heard back if they would be interested or not, but I would think that, can't imagine that they're not interested.
Yeah, I haven't heard what their situation is. Are they like in school? Are they not in school? I just know that, with the Olympics coming up, you just hear all the stuff going on about, they're in a bad situation over there right now. But I don't know if they're in school or not. And if they're not in school, I don't know. Obviously, I don't think it's workable, but maybe it's something that at least can be planned for September or something,
Right. I think that's some of the things we were thinking about, like how would it actually be? Would it be a whole week-long thing, or would it be more like you're matched with a family and almost like a pen pal, and we have maybe a teacher come on and do like, learn about one thing and you log on for an hour, you know what I mean? Like how would it actually work? And I don't know. And so we were hoping that maybe this workshop on virtual, I think the title was something like what was it, Jim? Like on virtual exchanges. I thought it would give us some information on like what other sister cities were maybe doing in that, and then we could work with that with Mito. So maybe Mito will have some ideas. Mr. Wing will get back to me with some ideas, or
it might have been something to reach out as far as the group to gain contacts, but I don't think the Consulate General necessarily wants to talk to me. So that's just the truth. I'm sorry, but I think he was a little higher power than what I would be. So that was.
And he's probably not planning exchanges either. So you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
It was very friendly and it was very good. And we talked about the different, what we do and in the rooms, and it was well done. It was well done. There was probably 50, 60 people on the call.
Oh,
so that was nice. Yeah. So I think with the Zoom, it's something we can get. And I know a lot of our students do a lot of FaceTime or do a lot of pen pal with the students from before. So we already actually have a big, an older, there are other students are keeping in touch. So it's not like and maybe that's the case. Maybe we get with some of the older students and send some emails out and say, hey, are you in touch with anyone? I don't know if that would help, or find out what they do. Well, they're texting constantly, we have our kids are still on Facebook with us. So, they respond and like and comment and do all kinds of things. You'll see on our Facebook page. So, or at least my wife's anyway. You don't see much from mine. But
yeah. And I think someone had the idea last time, which I thought was a good idea, is if we go through all the work of putting this together, it's like a good maybe feeder into our actual real life exchange whenever that does get back on track, right? So it could be a feeder if they're interested, if they really, that could be something that could get kids interested in the program, and then they get to apply from there to actually go to Japan, or, something like that. So I don't think it's like a waste of time, even if the real life exchanges, start back soon. I think it still could be useful or helpful or interesting, right?
I'm going to interrupt you because I just got an email from the California Japan Sister Cities Spring Workshop, and they have a video, and I will get that forward over to our group, and then you guys, if you want to spend 2 hours, you can watch that recording and learn. So that's good. It just showed up at 4:10 from Kevin O'Donnell, so I'll forward that to you.
That was serendipitous. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I just looked up and I said, wait a minute, what? So, which is good, it's good. And I think this California Japan Sister Cities Network is something that we would probably benefit us in the long run with our Japanese sister city. And I don't know of any other groups that are like that with any, like with Spain or I know we're looking at Mexico sister cities, but maybe that would be something good to follow if there's a group of, if we know there's active people from these cities that are out there that we can actually get in touch with and maybe go back to.
Idea. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't even know of this. I'll reach out to Anthony and see if there's any other groups similar to this that maybe have a different look at it. I think Japan is pretty tight with the coast, so I don't know how well we would see with some European cities or cities from Mexico. But I'll reach out to him he is the California Sister Cities guy, so he should know all those links. So I'll send him an email now, and I'll shut up.
That's a great idea. Yeah, because if we know we want someone in Mexico or Germany or some of the different countries we've been talking about, and we found that group, we could get suggestions on maybe cities who are interested or would be a good match for us. So yeah, it's a good idea. All right, anything else on the virtual exchange with Mito Japan?
If I can, having lived in Japan, worked with an international Japanese company that we had places all over the world, we used to do a lot of virtual. And when I think of it, at least for my envision, if we can at least put a feeler out there, so anybody over in Japan who might be interested in being part of this virtual with us, at least we give them some highlights. Here's the diversity of our cultures. We go through some of the different parts of Anaheim because we do have lots of different culture here. We talk about some of the highlights. Here's Angel Stadium. Here's our sports. And we just hit some of the highlights. So here's some of the cool things to do in Anaheim, not just Disneyland, but other things. We're at the pond, the stadium. We've got cool little things that if we kind of put a feeler out there, hopefully why these people are sitting at home and not doing something, going, why do I want to travel? They're going to watch and go, oh, Mom, Dad, this would be cool. Let's go over there and let me try to see what it's going to be like. We talk a little about our education system, what we have here, and just try to put a feeler taster out there, just saying, here, you want to come here.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea.
So it's just something to think about, because working for the Japanese company, because we have bases in Singapore, Malaysia, all over Europe and China and everywhere else, we had to do everything virtual because we couldn't travel with 10,000 people, but we'd do big corporate and say, here's what's going on in this location. And whoever's in charge in Singapore would say, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. And it makes everyone excited about working for the same goal. So it's just a thought.
Yeah, Brian, are you in the group with Kevin and Dara as well to put this together? Because
I volunteered.
Okay. So I think we're in agreement that we would like to do something virtual. If we had a proposal, I think it would be easier for me to take it to Mr. Wing. I mean, I did send him an email, but if I said, hey, this is kind of what we're thinking, we picked, so many students and we have them exchange with a family, and there's a group, meeting at this time, twice during the week, whatever you guys come up with, or whatever the, group comes up with. I think some of those are great. I'm sure we could get someone at Angel Stadium to give us a tour on, we could record it. And even if the time isn't live, maybe we could record it and then have someone present it online, right? So there's a lot of, I think, opportunities. It's just getting something together and then getting the kids, I think, which I think might actually get more kids interested because it's not such a commitment of going to Japan. So it might be something where we get even more interest because it's less of a commitment. So So yeah, so I would suggest reaching out to Kevin and Dara as well, and maybe coming up with some time to meet and come up with some different proposals or ideas. And then I'll let Mr. Wing know. And as soon as I hear back from him, I'll let you guys know too what he says, or his thoughts.
Well, Talene, also, I think I agree with you that having a proposal ready to go makes a lot of sense. And then also trying to think of low-hanging fruit that would probably work with minimal effort on the role of this commission. I think reaching out to those high schools that have those Japanese classes and just connecting them to a classroom in Mito, because it was made mention that trying to get interest from students to apply to go to Mito in the future. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think like 80% of the kids that go to Mito come from one of those programs, whether it be a Loera or one of the other classes. And so, I mean, maybe it's as simple as reaching out to the Loera Japanese class, seeing if there's an interest to do a virtual exchange with a school of equivalent age group in Mito, and then we propose that to Mr. Wang, and there you go.
And I think one of the things, Kevin, what time did you say it would have to do? We would have, if we were doing like a live situation, it would have to be early in the morning. I forget what you said. Late in the afternoon.
It would have to be 8 a.m. their time and 4 p.m. our time.
Yeah, so at the beginning of their day, but I think that's still workable. I mean, but it is, the kids would be not in school, which might be better actually, so they could get out of school. But so we'll have to figure that out if we want to do it live. But yeah, reaching out to the high school class is a great idea. Bye, Brian. Bye, Anna. Thank you, you guys. All right. Anything else on the virtual exchange? All right. Then we'll move to Victoria Gaske's relationship update. We got some great additional contacts, I think, last meeting. Was anyone able to follow up on those and move this process forward?
Unfortunately, I did not. I don't see Paul on here, and that was tasked with me and Paul. So just got to be a crazy month. So I will reach out to Paul and we'll do something with it.
I haven't heard anything from the new contacts. So the way it was presented is we were introduced to two individuals in Victoria Gastais with my name and contact information saying that we would be in touch. But I was kind of hoping that they would proactively reach out as well, saying, yes, can't wait to talk to you or something like that. But we haven't heard anything yet, which is fine. And then I think I proposed to the group that we could draft just a really simple introductory letter and email, and I have a draft of that. So I'll send that through. And then, Jermaine, I guess you can look at it with it's Paul, right? Paul, yeah. And see if you want to press go on that. And then I'm happy to, put my name on that together with yours, and then see what we get back. I think that's probably the good next step.
That would be wonderful, Greg. Thank you.
All right, that sounds great. All right.
But also on that, in that same, just like we discussed with Mito, I think we'll have more success if we have an idea to pitch to them, and so I don't know if we want to discuss what type of programs we could pitch to them in that exchange. And again, it doesn't need to be anything concrete, but it would be nice to include in the letter some examples of how we want to engage them. We can always throw out there, delegation visits, right? If they want to come to Anaheim, happy to have you. That's easy. We can always maybe throw out there employee exchanges, because that's what we've done in the past with them, where if they want to send some of their planners to Anaheim to learn about what we do, and we can maybe do the same. We could talk about youth exchanges, kind of like we do with Mito. We kind of know that game. So we can throw that out there. Is everyone okay with those ideas and any other ideas that we want to pitch? Maybe virtual exchanges?
So.
Personally,
I like all of that.
I think we'd have a lot of good opportunity with the youth exchanges, just with our dual immersion programs that we have at the 4 schools. And I think, like we're talking about this virtual thing with Mito, if we propose going forward with something like that to start with, and then see if we get momentum. I think it's a great idea.
Okay. I will include that then.
Thanks. All right.
And I have contacts with all the high school teachers over at Anaheim High School and also at Savannah on the dual immersion programs.
Great.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Do we even do public comment? I don't have any, no one emailed me anything to say or anything, but did anyone else have anything from the public, I guess? No, okay.
I saw the meeting was advertised on Facebook. That was really great. Like, wow, somebody's going to come to our meeting.
Kevin's on it. It's got to be Kevin. It's got to be Kevin.
Kevin's been posting it for a while, I feel like, because I've seen it definitely there before. So, all right, commissioner comments. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we usually don't have a meeting, I feel like, in July, but that's because the students are here. Am I right? Okay. Do we still not, I know we're in May, I'm thinking way ahead, but do we still not have a meeting in July? I'm okay with that. But what,
I would like to say, if we're talking about doing this virtual exchange, that maybe we should, because we might actually have something rolling at that point with school coming back in.
All right, let's discuss at the next meeting then, depending, and we'll see what is brought back to us, you know, what's in the pipeline by then. I don't think we would do the virtual exchange like this summer. I mean, that would be just, we would have to find students and stuff, and now school's out. But that doesn't mean that we might not have stuff to do in July. So let's see what happens next month then, and then we could decide at the next meeting. Does that work? All right. Any other commissioner comments? Did anyone watch the city council meeting? So it looks like, I went back and watched it after the fact, and it looks like the mayor put together a committee, and Greg could probably hop in and add to this and knows way more about it than I do.
Yeah, you're taking my staff comments from
okay,
it.
Any staff comments?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, what I saw was that the mayor made some kind of committee to basically look into the best way to set the sister city commission up, right? I mean, is that basically how it's going to go forward? I don't know. No one's contacted me. I mean,
yeah, no, that's exactly what the discussion was about. You know, before the meeting, I think we were all kind of like, okay, we're not really sure what's going to come of this. But at the end of the day, it was direction from the city council to staff to establish a working group of sorts with I think three council members, and I've already started having conversations with those council members, and we're going to be meeting as a working group very shortly to just talk about the commission as it exists today. You know, I'll give them all the history behind it. And then we'll start talking about, okay, what should we do in order to, reformat the commission, maybe do it by district. You know, it's obviously we're one of the few that's not appointed by district. And so I think there's a desire to look at that again. Whether or not that comes out as a recommendation, I'm not sure, but we'll talk about that again. We'll talk about the size of the commission. You know, there was the letter sent to council in 2017 that gave specific recommendations about what to do with the commission in terms of sizing. And so I'm sure that'll come into play. Also, what kind of entities we want to be in the commission, other than just citizens and residents, but other kind of business entities that they want to be involved. There was some conversation about that. So we're going to be talking about all that. But most importantly, my recommendation to this working group is to interview commissioners and to hear directly from you all, your experience to date, and also some of your recommendations moving forward. So I would, and I don't know if all of you will be interviewed, but certainly the chair and some of the officers folks and the people who've been involved for a long time. expect to be contacted by myself, and we'll put something on calendar. If you feel strongly about wanting to be interviewed or consulted, let me know. Send me an email. Happy to talk to anybody and pass along your feedback to the council members as they deliberate and kind of figure out what the next steps are. But the good thing is, I think the discussion was there's value to what this group does, and I think there was also some acknowledgement of how difficult sitting on this commission can be as opposed to others in terms of what's expected of you. Unlike the planning commission where you're just given documents and told to vote one way or the other, you actually have homework here, and you saw a lot of times you're asked to take your own personal time to work on projects. And so there was an acknowledgement of that this is a different kind of group. There was also an acknowledgement of funding and how when this was established, there was no funding directed to the Sister City Commission. And so therefore you are the only commission that I'm aware of that does fundraising. And so there was talk about maybe there's funding tied to any new restructuring. And so, I think all good things, to be discussed. And so if you are contacted and, or if you have your own thoughts on how things should move forward, let me know, and don't hesitate to share with council members if asked. And I don't have a timeline on this process, so it's not like something that's going to be done by the next council meeting. It's been difficult just trying to get the council members to be available for an initial meeting, but that's, I believe, now been scheduled, and so we're going to have that conversation in the next couple weeks, and then we'll go from there. So hopefully by the end of the summer, we'll have some clarity of sorts on what's going to happen.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Yeah. Any questions? Any comments?
I have one comment. And Greg, you have the council actually talked about a document that was sent out for recommendations.
Yeah.
Can you forward that to me or to the commission?
Sure. I'll have Maggie. Yeah, I'll ask Maggie to send it out to the group. It was 2017, and Anthony's name is on it, but I know that he shared it with this group. I know he shared it with me prior to sending it to the council, and
right,
it was just it was as a result of discussions with this group about size of the group and how they should be appointed and what kind of other entities should be involved. It's not. I mean, it shouldn't be shocking. When you read it, it'll sound familiar, I think.
Yeah, no, I was just curious. I know that the council did mention several times that they had some recommendation that came in from the Sister City Commission. And as being, I think this is my 9th or 10th or 11th year with my break, I said I haven't been contacted by one council member to request information or talk or discuss with the issues or the problems that we do have. And I don't mean those as bad problems. I just mean it's hard when you have a commission made up of 15 people, and I'm not picking, but I just, we very seldom get council to our meetings. They may read over our minutes and things, but it's more involvement. It's even a lot of commissioners get appointed have never don't attend meetings before they even get appointed, to find out that how much work we do spend or time we spend outside of meetings of which I enjoy with the kids and doing what we do, but it is a different commission than sitting down for an hour and deciding what playground or what budget or where you're going to put money at, just to throw out there, or answering phone calls at 8 o'clock at night because it's the next day, or being on the phone for an hour. And we all know that. So I just would, if you could send that so we can see what was presented, and I'd love to talk to council or anybody who's willing to listen. I know we've known each other a long time, and you know my opinions on a lot of things. So we're just here to help. So that's the key, to make the commission work and make it, for everybody. That's the goal. So we can have a good exchange and have a lot of people doing the work. So a lot of Indians make the work easy, or not a lot of chiefs, but you know what I mean. We don't think it's with staff.
And also this group, just like in 2017, I mean, this group's welcome to put something in writing if there's an interest in doing that. Or we can just handle it on a case by case basis as we kind of reach out to commissioners to get their thoughts. I mean, it's totally up to this group. I think Anthony wanted to put a letter together in 2017, and so he made a letter happen. But it certainly doesn't need to happen. But I just throw that out there.
Yeah, we can take a look at it and see if there's anything that is that I see as different, and we can go and talk with Talene and maybe have a separate meeting to discuss those points. And I don't know that we can do an ad hoc committee on this commission that would take up those ideas and maybe present something to council as far as what our thoughts are with makeup and what the commitment is. I mean, it is very difficult to get a group together. I mean, even on any of the nonprofit boards, there is a commitment of sorts that you have to come up with, and it's just not a matter of showing up on a Monday afternoon and saying thank you and then going away till next month. So I'm not saying anything about it. I mean, this last 15 months for you new commissioners, I mean, it's been tough. I mean, honestly, it has been, because this is a meeting that, I mean, until you get to enjoy the fruit from what we do, and watch these kids and see what we get to produce out there, and see the international, how do you want to call it? I don't know. I'm not a politician, so I don't have all those fancy words, but to see it come together and do a sayonara dinner and get to see what these kids are doing and how they go from Monday to Friday, what the differences on their faces are, and what they get to do, and especially coming to Anaheim. I think we have an excellent program, and any city in the world would love to be a sister city with Anaheim, and we have to be very careful that we don't end up with 50 of those with expansion. So I've said enough. Thank you.
Thank
So
you,
Greg, I think that we did the letter with that Anthony sent was when we were going to districts, and they were talking about restructuring all the commissions, and that's what prompted that letter.
Yeah, that's correct. I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Any other comments, questions on that?
I think that was my off year, because if it was 16, I would have been off for that year when you guys presented that letter. And that's maybe why I'm kind of like, where's this mysterious letter?
Yeah, I don't remember it either, Jim. So, but I do remember when we went to districts that there was, like what's going to happen, and then we just paused it. So I'm not sure what was in that letter or what's still applicable now. So
yeah, in addition to like the makeup of the commission and things like that, I would also anticipate a lot of discussion about the philosophy of what this group should be with regard to new sister cities. I think this has been an ongoing debate since the commission started in 2009. Is it quantity or quality, right? Should we focus on what we have, or should we expand and add more sister cities? And so I think that's going to be part of the discussion as well with the council members. What your philosophies are, what you think works best. Should we focus on what we have and maybe strengthen what we have, or should we actually actively go out and start pursuing other partners? And there was some conversation about that at the council meeting as well. Having strategic partners located in Mexico and other cities that would garner a lot more support potentially locally to foster a relationship. So I just want to throw that out there. That's also something that'll be discussed.
fantastic. I think that sounds all good to me. So I think that will be helpful.
Can I get one more question in before we leave?
Of course.
So I noticed Jennifer Hall, and I'm not familiar. Is she a staff member with Anaheim now? Is that? I just saw her name on the bottom there.
Clerk's office.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
I just, it's sometimes you can't tell, especially if there's just a telephone number, and I noticed she's on our email list. So, welcome.
And I think it has to.
Yeah. Go ahead, Greg.
No. I was just going to say, I think the clerk's office is on. Maggie, correct me if I'm wrong, just for the reporting purposes, or.
Yeah, actually, she is has been very helpful when we had our meetings at the council chambers. So she's making sure that everything is working as far as getting it out to the public through YouTube, her and also our video operations. So if anything was to go wrong, she's just observing, making sure that everything's flowing perfectly. Yeah. So,
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. Any other, oh, I have another commissioner comment, I'm sorry. Next meeting, so June, I already switched my calendars, I keep getting confused. So June's meeting, I think that we're gonna do the option to have it at City Hall, right? Is Maggie and Kimberly, were we gonna do the next meeting in person, or do we wanna do another Zoom?
I think that's up to the commission. We could do a combination like we talked about last meeting. If some folks would like to come in person and get together and then other folks want to Zoom in, we can do that as well. So it's really up to the group what you guys would like to do. And then between Maggie and I and probably Jennifer, we'll get it set up.
yeah.
Perfect. I say for the next one, we do that where we have the option, and then maybe, you know, we could transition over to going back to City Hall. Or, yeah. Does that work? Does anyone have any opposition to that?
I would only say before we make Greg and Kim and Maggie go through something, if no one's going to show up on site, we want to make sure that we're going to, you know, who wants, I would like to see who's going to be there, because I don't think would be nice to have Greg and like I said, Kim and Maggie set up a meeting and then everybody be on Zoom, which it's a lot easier for me to be on Zoom, but I'm, you know, at this point, but I think it's just, you know, something we should make sure that we don't waste everyone's time or take up a room for, and do that ahead of time. So maybe if we could send an email out and say who would come in and commit to that and not who would not come in, I guess maybe that would be an answer. I don't want to waste anyone's time.
I agree. I love Zoom personally. It's way easier for me, but I will come in if I need to come in. But I feel like last month there were some people saying that they wanted to come in person. So maybe if we can send out an email and see, you know, what the feeling is, because yeah, that is a good point, Jim. We don't want to put you guys through all that work and no one show up at the meeting. It's because if there isn't Zoom and a live option, I think a lot of people will Zoom, but we'll see. All right.
Exactly.
All right, perfect. Any other commissioner comments? All right. I know I took Greg's big staff comment away, but any other staff comments? No? All right.
No, nothing more from staff.
Perfect. Then we're going to adjourn at 4:44.
Thank you